Let's move on to see what the international papers are making of all of this news with Oliver Farry. Hi, Oliver. And we're going to start off quite fittingly, I think, in Greece.
Yep, it's a bit of a mixed bag like it is elsewhere. The left-wing daily Avgi, which is close to the ruling Syriza party, is rejoicing. Its headline reads 61% no to austerity. It also notes the contrasting fortunes of Alexis Tsipras, who has been vindicated by the no vote he called for, and the right-wing opposition leader Antonis Samaras, who has resigned. In the English edition of the centre-right Katharine, which endorsed a yes vote, Nikos Konstantaros says the Greek people put their faith in the unknown. He acknowledges that the referendum turned into a great vote of confidence for Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, but given the government has not yet improved the economy, it's really a vote of confidence in the unknown, and the paper doubts whether the vote will strengthen Tsipras' hands in negotiations with the creditors. How will Greece get out of this impasse, it asks? That too is unknown. The centre-left Tovima, which also endorsed a yes, agrees that responsibility now passes to Tsipras. He must now implement what he promises, quote, to negotiate an agreement in a short amount of time, better than that offered by his European partners. It also concludes he has a historical duty to keep Greece in the euro and in Europe, though it may be too late for the former.
Well, let's look at Germany. Germany, of course, the biggest contributor to Greece's bailout overall. They really haven't had very many kind words for Greece in the lead up to this referendum. How are they taking this no?
They're not taking it very well at all. They're almost uniformly foursquare behind the German government and the Troika. Today they delve into their trove of imagery from classical mythology and history. The Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung says Tsipras has claimed a Pyrrhic victory, which of course is one that is only temporary and is followed by a much greater defeat. The result of the referendum, it says, is not in the long-term interest of Greece. The country must adjust to the fact that nothing is going to get better in the near future. Alexis Tsipras has promised his people the impossible and they deserve better. The Süddeutsche Zeitung also rolls out the Pyrrhic victory in what is a strongly worded comment piece headlined "No longer any basis for cooperation." It says the light of hope that shines in Greece this evening is the light of delusion. There are no longer any arguments for keeping Greece in the Eurozone. The moment has been reached where new negotiations and new deals would lead to a massive self-inflicted injury.
So they're out and out calling for a Grexit.
Yes, they're fairly categorical on that today. The Business Daily Handelsblatt says that the headline is incomprehension and lack of acceptance in the rest of Europe. Now, as is so often the case, this headline confuses European people who have shown a lot of support for Greece with European governments. Of course, the German Vice-Chancellor and Economy Minister Sigmar Gabriel has already said that Greece has burned its last bridges with Europe. The centre-right FDP leader Christian Lindner sarcastically says it was the Greek people's democratic right to refuse European solidarity. They who reject reforms can now expect humanitarian aid instead of bailout billions.
Right, so quite a lot of negativity coming out of those newspapers. But talking about solidarity, the idea of solidarity does vary somewhat elsewhere in Europe, doesn't it?
That's right. There are others who say they have solidarity with the Greek people in the face of austerity, like the left-wing Portuguese MEP Rui Tavares. Writing in Público, he calls for solidarity against blackmail. He says the Greeks said no in the face of closed banks and pharmacies and supermarkets that were already running low on stocks. But like others on the left, Tavares says the no was not a vote against Europe or to leave the euro, which 80% of Greek people want to keep. And Europe should resist the temptation for revenge, he says, which several leaders have already intimated. Various European governments in the past have had treaties renegotiated after no votes, such as Denmark, France, Ireland and the Netherlands. The Greeks deserve no less than this. Anyone who loves Europe cannot be let Greece be pushed out the door. The same goes for anyone who loves Portugal, which has also suffered punitive austerity.
All right, thanks very much for that roundup of lots of different European newspapers. Oliver Farry, our press reviewer here on Live from Paris.